Hey, what's up guys? So I'm going to be working on my Tamiya Lunchbox. It is a awesome RC. I just want to do some upgrades to it. Right now it has a few upgrades. I'm not really happy with them right now. I had a Losi xxx-T roller and I stole the shocks off it and put it on this thing. It works really well. I'm just not happy with the back shocks. We're going to replace those. Actually I have these shocks from my Wheelie King. I'm going to modify these and we're going to put them on this truck. I got some brand new, well, I had these springs, but I'm going to put these springs in the front. They seem a little bit stiffer. These are just way too soft. And then I got a waterproof ESC. It's brushed because I am running a brush can. That is a Tamiya Sport Tune motor. And this actually came from one of my other trucks. I pulled this out and haven't used it since, and it's a good ESC. We're not using it in this thing. I want this thing completely waterproof. And then I got a 2.4 gigahertz receiver to put in it. If you look right in there, I have a xxx-T 27 megahertz. That's old school. So yeah, we're gonna upgrade that. That's don't be a huge upgrade for this thing. So pretty much I'm still rocking out this dude right here. This is old school. I got this with a trade and I wanted to get this RC up and running, so I used this, but it's just time to upgrade this. So I'm actually gonna pair it with my GT3B. And I'm pretty excited about that. With the receiver, I'm going to put a waterproof receiver box. I bought this special. This is actually a Wheelie King waterproof receiver box. So that's going to be going into it. And I got some tubing. You probably wonder what this tubing is going to be going with. Well, the tubing is going to help me modify these shocks. So these are a little bit too long, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a spacer in them to where they're about that, like that right there. Oh yeah, I have bearings all the way across this thing, and I put a Traxxas 2075 in it. Yeah, 2075 and servo, and that 2075 servo works great in this truck. So it's a very good truck. I like this truck a lot. It just needs some upgrades. Oh, and also we're going to modify these shocks in the front. The camber on this is just ridiculous. Look at that. So pretty much what we're going to get it, we're going to get it to where it's like this. Like that right there. That's the goal. It's going to be a lot better driving. It's a fun RC when it's like this. But we want to get it like that. It'll drive a lot better, act a lot better. The suspension will actually work, and we'll go from there. So first thing we're going to do, we're probably going to take off the front tires first and then take off the shocks. So we're going to do that really quick. So let me get some, let me get my tools. So first we're going to take off the tires. Remove the tires. We gotta get the other one. Takes care of that. So we got the tires off. Alright, so we're going to take the shocks off now. And you pretty much take off this bolt right here, and then I custom fitted a bracket right here, and I gotta take a bolt right off right here, and then the whole shock will just come off. Alright, go figure. I can't get a nut driver on the other side of that nut, but so I'm back to using pliers again. Alright, we got that removed. That should just pop out. Alright, it's time to take the top of the shock off. Alright, so now we're going to pull this out. I got the shock out. Alright, so part of the upgrade is I'm going to take these black springs right here. I had these like as just a leftover part in my just array of parts. And I'm going to put this in. I'm going to see what kind of difference it's going to make. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to try out this spring. So all you do is just pull this spring back. Pull that back. Pop that out. That spring will just fall out. I'll pop this in. And oh yeah, big difference. That's gonna help a lot. So when I was using this spring, it's just way too soft, and it was causing a lot of issues, especially when I was reversing. It wanted to, like, the wheels would just come up against the whole entire body. I didn't like that. So we're going to take these out. No need to have these anymore. So we're going to go with these black springs now. So like I said, I modified the shock to fit on this. So I'm going to modify it again. I'm going to take this apart. Maybe. Take the spring off, and then we're gonna clean it up. It is nasty. And then we're gonna take this whole entire piece apart, and actually needs to come down just a hair. I've already measured out how much it needs to come down. It actually needs to come down to about right there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a spacer inside. That's gonna limit where this actually ends up. So when it actuates, it's just gonna come out to about right there every time. And then we're gonna put some new oil in it, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, we're gonna take this shock apart really quick. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take off the shoulder. It's right here, holds the shock. We're just gonna loosen that up, and it should be loose now, just like that. We're gonna take that off. And then on this shock, the top part is actually one piece. It's, like I said, I got this from a Losi xxx-T. And on this one, you just pop this bottom piece off and the whole entire shock will come apart. So that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do, I got the biggest freaking wrench I could find. For some odd reason, I'm having trouble finding my tools out of my shed. But anyhow, take a pair of pliers. And you're going to need to hold the top. You don't want to hold too hard. Just hold it. I'm going to hop on that little hex right there. And we're going to spin this around. Okay. Now I got this tray right here for a reason. Because when I pull this out, there's going to be oil that drips out everywhere. So I want something to catch the oil. So we're going to go ahead and just spin this out. And it's going to be oil coming out. And actually we're going to change the oil, so we're just going to pour it out. So this is where the tubing comes into play. We have two different sizes of tubing that I got. I've had it lying around. I got this size of tubing, which I think is going to be about pretty much perfect. And I've already sized up how tall I need this to be. Cut a piece of tubing to match that right there. I want this much open. That seems like not a lot, but for this, it's going to be perfect for this truck. I don't need a lot of spring in my front, just enough to take in all the recoil in the front is, because it's already bouncy enough and I like that. But we're going to cut this up and get this figured out. Alright, on this shock there's a C-clip on it. I call them Jesus rings, because whenever you take these off, you say Jesus every single time, because these fly off. So what you do, you just take a flathead screwdriver and easily pry it off. So I'll show you that right now. Alright, so here it is right here. And so all you do is you just take your screwdriver, and there's little slots there. You want to get your thumb kind of in there, You want to push up. Just like that. It just popped off. So a C-ring comes off. This will come off. And this bushing right here will come off. And there's another C-clip on it on the bottom. So we're going to take that off. This one we can just use our fingers. At least I think so. Nope. So we're going to pop that C-clip off. We're going to take this little bushing off. And that's all she wrote. So I just got my 2 pieces cut of tubing for my shocks. These are going to be my spacers. And the spacer that was in it, it's just not going to work. It's too small. And we're just going to leave this piece out. So we're going to slide this onto the shock shaft. And then we're going to put it all back together. Do a test fit. And then we're going to do the other one. So, and I just want to show you one thing. So when you're doing your shocks right here, let me try to get a close-up right there. Each shock has a little disc, and I can't remember what these are called, but they have little holes. Now you can get different discs that have 2 holes, 1 hole, no holes, 3, 4, whatever. And this allows the oil to go in and out of the shock when the shock is compressed up and down. So you can always switch these out if you're not having enough play in your shock. Just an FYI. Alright, so we're going to put this tubing onto this shock right now. It's going to be a tight fit, which is what I wanted. Alright, so we got our piece of tubing on now. And so if we move this up, this is the amount of shock we're going to have. That's going to be about perfect for what I need to do, because when it's fully compressed, the wheel goes against the body of my RC. I don't want that. And I still want my tire to be somewhat on the ground all the way, because it just had too much camber. So this is going to be about perfect. I'm going to put the rest of this together and we'll go from there. So you got those 2 little grooves right there on the shaft, and those are where the 2 C-clips go. And we're going to put those C-clips on, and we'll be good to go. And we're going to put that disc back on too. So I'm going to put this C-clip on. Should just snap right in place just like that. And it shouldn't wiggle or anything. And then also I'm going to push this tubing up just a hair to where it's sitting up against that C-clip. So I got that tubing up against that C-clip now, so I'm going to put the disc back on just like that. And I picked this tubing on purpose because the holes can still breathe, so it can still let that oil back and forth, and that's what I want. And all I gotta do now is put the other C-clip on, put the shock back together, and we're gonna do a test fit. And then I'm gonna take it apart again, add some oil, and we'll be good to go. So I just had one of the C-clips just fly off, and that's why I call them Jesus rings, because when they fly off, I just want to say Jesus. So I keep a spare bag of extra C-rings, and I'm gonna have to use one of them up. Alright, so I got my C-clip on, and while I was doing it, I hurt myself, so go figure. So not only did I lose a C-clip, I ended up hurting myself, so not a big deal, just a little blood. So we're going to do a test fit really quick, and we'll go from there. So like I said, we're not going to put any oil in this shock. We're just going to put it back together really quick. Get that put back in. Let's give it a quick, oh yeah, much better. Alright, so now we got this shock put back together, and we're just going to do a test fit. Once we do a test fit, we're going to take it back apart, put the oil back in it, and we'll be good to go. Alright, it's time to install it really quick. Just do a test fit, and then we're going to install the oil. That already looks a lot better. I'll put a wheel on it really quick. Oh my lord, that is so much better. Yeah, that's way better. I'm gonna put the other wheel on it really quick. If I can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Alright, so right here you can tell the difference. So this is my modified shock, and this is the non-modified shock. You see the big difference? So I believe this is going to be a big upgrade for this. So it pretty much brought this shock by right there. Now if we put a little bit down on it on that other shock, it's going to be sitting like that. I'm looking at it right now. I think that looks pretty darn good. And yeah, once we put some oil in that, it's going to be butter. We got to go back. We got to take these wheels off. So let's take them off. We're going to uninstall our shock again. We're going to pull our shock out. And then we're going to take it apart again. Alright, so I think I decided on oils finally. I mean, I think I'm going to do 35 in the front and 40 in the back. I feel like this is going to be a good combo. So the oil that I'm using is Team Losi Racing oil number 35 on the fronts. All you do is pop it open. We're going to fill it up. So we're going to reinstall our shaft back into our shock. And so whenever you do this, you want to go in pretty slow because you want that oil to go through the holes and then seat inside there. You know what I mean? So that way you don't get oil splattered all over the place. So we're just going to install this super slow. And I'm going to try to get this on camera. It's one mistake I always do. I always fill it up a little bit too much. So it's not a problem. You just wipe it off. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Alright y'all, so I was playing around with my shock and I wanted to use this black one, this black spring, but it's just way too stiff. Way too stiff. And this is just way too soft. So I went into my thing of parts and I found this white spring. It's like right in the middle and it feels awesome. And I think I'm going to go with these white ones. And the good thing is I have two of them. So we're going to be using the white springs now. Alright y'all, so my thumb quit bleeding. So that's a good thing. So I just took the band-aid off. I shouldn't have any issues. But it's now time to install my shock. I got shock oil in it. I got my spring on it. We're going to go with the white ones again. And let's get this bad boy on. And we'll start on the other one after that. Alright, I finally got that bolted back up and it feels just awesome. That's the way it should look, that's the way it should feel, and that's about where it should be. So I'm pretty happy with this shock. I'm going to go ahead and get this other one done off camera, and I'll update you when I'm done. Alright, we got both shocks on now, and they look pretty darn good. I'm really, really happy with it. So here's the one side. Here's the other side. And we're going to get the wheels on this thing and we're going to take a look at the stance. Alright, we're officially done. We're done with the front end. So we got the upgrade done and I am so happy with it. So it actually stands the way it should stand. The stance is right on the money and I am really happy with that front end. That's going to be great. It's pretty much dead on. Man, am I happy with that. Take a look at that, y'all. Very nice. There's a look from the side. There's a front. And there's the other side. Wow, am I happy with that. So, good deal. So there's that. We are officially done with that project.